The Pirates of Penryn!
Introduction and overview.
Mermaids and gentle lovers, ahoy and welcome to the first of these 3 How to Play videos. I'm Kate.
And I'm Matt, and we're here to run you through our handsome little game.
Not run you through though, like with a sword or nothing. That wouldn't be very welcoming.
No, not run you through. I meant we're here to get you going quickly so you don't have to do battle with the rulebook.
Oh yeah, ferocious thing, that rulebook.
Right then, so let's begin at the beginning with a very quick overview.
Then we'll move on to the basics of gameplay to quickly get you moving. We'll cover more details in the second video, and we'll get on to the beginners and kids and 2-player version in the third.
Yeah, but we recommend you watch this one first though to get you your sea legs.
So, the idea is you're playing competing captains who've all arrived from the Caribbean in your mighty great galleons, carrying lots of horrible rum, which you're going to sell in the local Cornish ports to make heaps of florins and win the game.
You've laid anchor out here because your big galleons won't fit down the estuary. These waters are tidal and very shallow in places, so in order to sell your rum, you have to load it onto your little rum runner boats and take several trips to port.
So you'll find yourself ferrying cargo in, selling it at one of these 3 ports, Falmouth, Flushing and Penryn, then trying to sail your profits back to stow on your galleon before any other scoundrel swipes them.
The tide and the wind play a part in how you move around, and your journey may be complicated by whirlpools and this ferocious beast Morgor. But we'll get to that in a minute.
For now, let's get everything set up to begin playing, and remember that the captain with the most florins stowed safely aboard the galleon at the end of the game will be the glorious winner.
But also remember, there's more than one way to make a florin.
Setting up.
Right then, let's get set up. Firstly, let's load the bank. As you can see, my glamorous assistant has separated the florins into their different denominations and is putting them on the places marked out on the map.
First time I've been called glamorous. Been called many things, not that one.
You'll see the florin cards have this lovely blue rum runner artwork on the back.
You'll also be seeing that the crew cards share that very same back. On their fronts, however, you see all the different rapscallious sorts that you'll meet later. Give these a shuffle and place them face down on the map in a place marked with an anchor.
Lovely. Next up we have the Whirlpool pack. Their reverse artwork is different from all the other cards, this lovely sea green and gold design. There are 3 types of Whirlpool card: good, lucky rascal, bad, peril and strife, and monstrous, Morgor. Let's give them a good shuffle and place them face down on a space on the map marked Whirlpools.
Now, speaking of Morgor, let's put her where she's happiest. Right at home here in her cave. Such a cutie.
You know she don't like being called a cutie, you watch yourself. You know, someone else who don't take kindly to being called cute is the mighty Tide Maid. She starts here on this segment of the tide table marked with a skull and bones and moves 1 space each turn. Now what else changes each turn, Shipmate Matt?
Well, I'm glad you asked because I got the wind. And it gives me the excuse to make that joke.
Yeah, your wind is no joke.
Arr. Anyways, place the windicator piece on the compass rolls, pointing towards the southwest. Again, the starting position is marked by the skull and bones.
Then place the skull and crossbones coin on top of the windicator for safekeeping, and we're nearly done.
Just the rum runners to go. Place the playing pieces on the matching coloured galleons. Red Talon, Blue Anchor, Saracen Gold, Black Star and the Emerald Drake.
Tidy. That's the map set up. Let's move on to stocking the galleons and loading the rum runners.
Your 2 vessels.
So let's get these galleons stocked. Remember, you've arrived with lots of rum, so deal each player 12 rum cards. It doesn't matter about the brands, they're all horrible. If you're playing with fewer than 5 people, put whatever's left back in the box. Put them face down onto your galleon mat. Now they're stowed safely below decks.
You will see that the rum cards also share the same reverse artwork as the florins and the crew. This is important later because it means you can keep what you're carrying in your rum runaround secret from other players. But before we get on to rum runarounds, let's finish stocking these galleons.
Next up, let's welcome your crew aboard. Just 3 of the poor blighters are left after their epic Atlantic adventure. Deal each player 3 crew cards face down from the shuffled crew pack. Again, place them onto your galleon mat.
Don't show these to your fellow players, you don't want them knowing what quality of crew you have aboard, or lack of. We'll go into what all the bits of the crew cards mean later on.
And finally, to finish stocking the galleons, let's see what's left in the coffers. Oh, running low on florins. Just 1 5 florin card, 2 3 florin cards and a single 1 florin card. Stash them below decks with the rest.
That ain't gonna buy you much down the pirate accessory store. Better get on and sell that rum to some poor unfortunates.
The galleon stocked, we can transfer some of these cards to our little rum runner boats for the first trip to port.
Yar, your big boats won't fit down these waters, so you need a little boat to get around. Your galleon is anchored and acts as your bank. Your rum runner is mobile and carries the cards that you use in all aspects of gameplay. To transfer cards between the two vessels, your rum runner playing piece must be on your galleon spot on the map.
So, since all our rum runners are on our galleon spots, we can transfer some cards over. Let's load a recommended first hand for our first trip.
Each player needs to take from the cards that are below decks on their galleon the following 4 rum cards, a 1 florin card, a 3 florin card, and all 3 crew cards. This makes a total of 9 cards in your rum runner hand.
This is an important thing to remember, me hearties. Your rum runners are small and cramped and they can only ever carry a maximum of 9 cards. This will be important later, but we'll get to that when we need to.
Tide.
Now that our little rum runner is loaded up, it's time to set sail! Let's take a look at how the tide and wind affect your movement across the map.
At the beginning of each player's turn, the first thing you do is move the tide maid 1 space clockwise around the tide table. The tide maid's position shows you which squares on the map you can sail on.
You can see from the shading on the map that the tide has 3 phases, high, mid and low. When the tide maid is on one of the light segments of the tide table, it's high tide and you can sail on all squares on the map.
But as she moves around and reaches the mid-shade section of the tide table, it's mid-tide and you can only sail on the mid and the dark squares.
And then when she reaches this dark section of the tide table, it's low tide and you can only sail on the dark squares.
So you can see that there's a fair amount of time when Penryn up here is completely inaccessible. You can only get there during high tide.
That explains why they pay so much for your rum then. 10 florins a barrel is a right fine profit, poor thirsty beggars.
Yeah, not like that Falmouth lot. No tidal problems there. Flooded with rum they are, and they'll only give you 2 florins a barrel.
And them in Flushing being in between will give you 4. You can see the buying price marked on the map next to the ports.
But the tide ain't the only thing making Penryn more of a challenge to make dock. It's also a fair amount further away. I guess you'll be wanting to know how the barnacles to get yourself up there.
The wind.
Let's take a look at how you sail. After moving the tide maid 1 notch at the beginning of your turn, the next thing you do is flip the skull and crosswinds coin.
The arrows show the wind changing in either a clockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Turn the indicator 1 notch in that direction to set the wind for your turn.
So, in this example, we can see the wind has rotated 1 notch anti-clockwise to give a wind blowing towards the south.
Every turn you make up to 9 moves. There's 2 kinds of moves you can make. A yaw, which is a movement of 1 square, or a run, which is a movement of 2 squares.
The first thing to remember is you can move it in whichever direction you like, including diagonally, except for directly against the wind. So in this example, where the wind is blowing towards the south, you cannot move north.
The second thing to remember is that you can only make a run, the movement of 2 squares, in the same direction that the wind is blowing. Imagine the wind at your sails giving you an extra nudge.
So in this example, you can make runs south with the wind, you cannot move north against the wind, and you can make yaws of 1 square in any of the other 6 directions.
Here's an example move from the Emerald Drake. 1, 2, 3, 4 yaws west. 5, 6, 7 runs south. 8, 9 yaws southwest. Heading for Falmouth for a quick buck.
But the direction in which you can make runs and yaws changes as the wind direction changes. So now, let's imagine the skull and crosswinds coin has landed the other way up, and the wind turned 1 notch clockwise at the beginning of this turn.
The wind is now blowing towards the west, and this might make quite a difference. Here I go. 1, 2, 3 runs west with the wind. 4, yaw southwest to avoid a whirlpool. More on this later. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 runs west, and here I am all the way up here. Proper job.
Looking good for Flushing or even Penryn with that move. So keep an eye on the wind and tide, because Neptune's whims might have a big effect on your plans.
Be adaptable, me hearties. Run with the wind, but time it right so you're not stranded by the tide.
Getting to port and selling rum.
So here we are on our way to port to sell our rum and make a fabulous profit. 'Tis not all plain sailing though, fine friends. You'll note these whirlpools are dotted about. There's other pirate crews everywhere, and this beast be lurking in her lair.
We'll go into those in detail in the second video. For now, just know that Cornish whirlpools can spin your fortunes either way. Everyone's out to get your hard-earned florins, and that Morgor loves presents.
Now, the Saracen Gold has navigated through all that and has successfully arrived in port. You'll note that to get there she had to sail round the Red Talon rather than through her though.
To dock at port, you have to move on to one of these squares with the brown outline. There's 3 in Falmouth, 2 in Flushing, and just 1 in Penryn.
2 boats can't occupy the same square on water or on land, so this makes Penryn awkward if someone already got there before you, but you can share Flushing with one other player, or Falmouth with 2.
Right then, welcome to Flushing, you scurvy lovers. You'll be wanting to sell some rum, will ye?
Indeed, I got 4 barrels here. I don't have to sell all my rum if I don't want to, but on this occasion I'm going to, so I count them face up onto the sold cargo space on the map.
Us Flushingers buy for 4 florins a barrel, so that means you get 16 florins from the bank to put into your rum runner hand.
You can take your profits in whatever denomination you like, but remember your rum runner can only carry a maximum of 9 cards, excluding this one.
You have to load your profits onto your rum runner because the second half of the adventure is trying to sell them back to stow safely aboard your galleon without some other scoundrel swiping them.
I'm safe in port, no one can pick a fight with me here, but how do I stop other players nicking my stuff on the way back? By building a strong crew to defend my florins. At port you can buy pirates, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Buying crew.
You'll be wanting some fine sailors and fighters then. Well, never mind, we got this lot instead.
How much?
3 florins ahead, but for that you do get a good choice. At the end of the game, any crew on your galleon do add to your final score too, so they'd be a fine and sturdy investment.
Righto, you've convinced me. I'll have 2 new crew, please. I'm putting my 8 florins into the bank and taking my 2 florins change.
Once the money is paid, it's time to make your first choice. Here's the top 3 cards from the crew deck. Choose your favourite and put the other 2 back at the bottom.
Ooh, lovely lot, ain't they? We'll have to go into what all the bits and pieces of the crew cards mean in the next video. But briefly speaking, if they got more stuff, they're stronger characters.
Chosen your favourite, I see. Now to make your second purchase, Captain, here's the next 3 from the top of the crew deck.
Lovely. You can come with me.
These guys join your rum runner hand to protect you on your voyage back to the galleon.
Make sure you still have 9 cards if you're in your rum runner hand. While you're in port, you can change up money at the bank to make room if you need to.
Time to set sail back and stash your cash on the galleon.
Your galleon.
Once you've sailed your way back to your galleon spot on the map, you can swap cards between your rum runner hand and what's stowed safely below deck on your galleon.
Basically, you'll be wanting to keep all them florins safe and you'll be wanting to take more rum out to sell. But there are various choices to be made.
When you reload your rum runner for the next trip out to port, you can take whatever combination of cards you like, up to a maximum of 9.
You can take all rum if you like, but this might make you a bit drunk and vulnerable.
Or you can take all crew if you like to try and make your florins through theft and skirmish.
But often a mixture serves you best.
You might even want to take a florin or 2 with you. They come in handy if you want to offer sacrifices to Morgor the sea monster. We'll go into the details of that in the next video.
So while you're rifling through those cards and making your decisions, play can continue.
That's the basic structure for your shipmates. Load your rum runner, sail your 9 moves. If you reach port on your turn, you can sell rum and buy pirates. Sail back to your galleon, stow and reload.
All of this lot will take several turns to complete, but if you keeps your eye on the wind and plot a course accordingly, you'll soon be speeding across the map.
This be all very well and good, I hears you say, but how do I win? When will glory be mine?
Winning.
All right, keep your eye patch on. Let's have a quick look at the end game and sweet victory.
Hooray! Not that I'm competitive or nothing.
No, not at all. So, once you've been all up and down the map a few times, collecting florins and flogging all that horrible rum, you'll come to the situation where someone has no rum cards left on either their rum runner or their galleon.
Once this person has sailed their rum runner back to their galleon spot and combined all cards below their galleon map, they can then declare the end of the game with the words,
I be home and dry!
Blimey. At this point, what's at sea is lost. Nothing on the rum runners contributes to the final score. All players away from their galleons must discard their rum runner hands in the middle of the map.
If your rum runner is on your galleon, however, you can combine all the cards for your final score count.
Your florins count 1 for 1. A 15 is worth 15 points. A 3 is worth 3 points, so count up all your gold, me hearties.
But also your faithful crew come in handy once again. Any of these beauties upon your galleon count for 2 florins each.
In time-honoured tradition, the captain with the highest score wins, but shipmates take note. This might not be the same player as declared at the end of the game.
If he has run out of rum but reckons you might not have the most points, you can still choose not to end the game but sail back out instead to swipe more stuff from your opponents.
You'll have to make that judgment. 'Tis all about the timing.
Speaking of timing, 'tis about timing you choose who's going first.
Going first.
Now that you got the basics under your belt, you might want to set off and splash about the estuary a bit before watching the next video.
Or you might want to swat up on all the other aspects before you head out to sea.
Whenever you're ready, here's how you choose who's going first.
Every player takes a card from the crew deck.
Add up the total of charm, these smiley faces, and ferocity, these skull and bones, and the person with the highest total goes first.
If there's a draw, these two players take another card until there's a clear winner.
Good luck, me hearties! Watch video number 2 if you be wanting to know about whirlpools, skirmishes, duels, and of course,
The Mighty Mulgore.